Good Things Guy turned 10 this year, and I've never been more thankful or grateful to be doing something that I love so damn much, bringing you good things every single day. I know the team feel exactly the same way. Welcome back to another episode of Good Things with myself, Brent Lindeque, the Good Things Guy. Every episode I say that I'm excited, and I think this episode, I'm so incredibly excited and grateful. 2025 for this podcast has been absolutely fantastic. I've been podcasting for 11 years now. I started at Cliff Central 11 years ago. Can you believe? I moved on from there to Jacaranda, had the best time with all my Jacker friends, and of course moved then to being independent, a Good Things Guy podcast. You see, before 2025, I believed that podcasting, I was like a purist. I believed that podcasting could only be audio. And boy, was I wrong. This year, we decided to add video thanks to an incredible sponsorship by Nando's. We'll get into that. We'll get more into that shortly. An incredible sponsorship by Nando's took us into the space where we could go into the world of video. And suddenly, the podcast leveled up completely. It's grown where we are getting hundreds and thousands of views on every episode. And that's only because of you tuning in every single week that we release these shows. And that's quite funny because at the start of 2025, when we moved into the space, I was quite confused as to what I needed to call it, right? Because podcasting in my mind was just audio. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, there is a video element all over the place. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. You can get it absolutely everywhere. But when we moved into 2025, the crew kept laughing at me because I was like, is it a podcast? Is it a vidcast? Is it a show? And what I've realized is it is what it is. This is it. This is the podcast. Only good things with myself, Brent Lindeque. And we've had some of the most incredible guests this year. People that have really told their stories, taught us things, and made us think a little bit differently. We started our first show with Helen, who spoke about de-stressing, decluttering, getting rid of anxiety, stopping the glorification of busyness. This was one of the great tips that she left for us.
I had always defined myself by my ability to multitask. I even got a job once because they said she was a great multitasker, and I kind of wore that as a badge of honor, and I thought that was a good thing. And only later, when I started researching the neuroscience of performance, to realize that no one can multitask. Our brain is actually a single processing unit. And that's one of the reasons why we are getting so overwhelmed and so tired and so anxious, because all of those are linked. Because basically, our brain likes to do one thing at a time and move to the next one. So, and one of the reasons why that strategy that you've just spoken about must be so successful is you're giving your brain a chance to go into deep work mode. So you're actually going into your creative space, which energizes us, and you're letting it go down that rabbit hole and then pausing and then maybe doing another thing, later on or the following day. I think, and for everyone listening here, often we're on our email, then, other emails are popping in. So what we're doing is we're constantly task switching. And the research is saying that it takes 11 to 13 minutes for you to go out and see what another email is, and then come back again. So that 11 to 13 minutes cumulatively over the course of a day is exhausting, and it's a big waste of time. So if you realize, so one of, related to my awareness that multitasking is not the way, and that unitasking is the way of high performers, was the fact to realize, or the realization to give myself permission to recover. What we don't do well is we don't recover. Our body wants to go up and then it wants to come down. What we're doing is we're taking it up and then just staying in that cortisol kind of space. So I used words as a metaphor because I love to read and I love to write. And I've imagined your day as a sentence. Mm-hmm. What is your full stop at the end of your day? What activity can you do at the end of your day that marks the end of your day? In other words, that's the end of your working day. So I do three things. One is my husband and I go for a walk. Then I have a bath and I change my clothes. I'm that girl in my pajamas at 6 p.m.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
And then we sit down on the couch and have a whiskey. And those are the 3 full stops that happen. And then that means, whew,
Done.
now we're done. Because I also know when I do work at night, I make mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm not actually, so I treat my day almost as a sprint. And so I'm sprinting and I'm going to go. I'm going to do some deep work periods where I'm switching off my email notifications on my phone. And then I'm going to sprint. And then we're going to have the full stop. Because what I've realized, people don't even have a comma in their day. They're just pausing to kind of stuff some food in their face. And then they're going to go back to work. And it's not serving us. So if you extend that metaphor, so daily full stops, imagine your week as a paragraph. And how do you recover on the weekend? So religions that have Sabbaths, I think we can all learn a lot from them. So to actually take like a rest day.
We also had funny guys from Barry Hilton to Temba Robin. We know him. He's the David Attenborough of South Africa, the funny guy who brings all those viral videos that make us smile. Let's take a look back at what we spoke to him about. If one person has watched your video, if one person has seen what you've created, and that changes their perspective, that makes them smile, it makes them a little bit happier, it makes them proud of our country, you've done your job, like tick the box. And so that moves me into my next space where comedy, I started off by saying comedy is so important in our country. You're delivering, your job is a serious job in the space of laughs. And you give a lot of South Africans something to hold on to. Even if it's a cuck video and it's just one person, you're still giving that one person like a lifeline. It's so important.
You have to agree with me about it being cuck. I'm just saying, I'm allowed to say, no, I'm just kidding.
Do you understand like how important your role is? And not to add to your you said imposter syndrome, like it's important. It's an important role.
No, and I think we've definitely always seen that. And when I say we, talk specifically about Boa and myself and the content that we make, and it's really weird that I've fought for the longest time to try not be recognized as Shorty from Leon Schuster. Like
the whole team just cracked up.
Just please get my name strap correct, please.
Please, actually, get his name strap wrong.
But yeah,
do people stop you? Are they like?
Oh man, it's actually gotten so bad. Where this is also one of the sort of anecdotal stories I share in my comedy. As I say, I don't think people understand how age works, because I've got so many people, and it's no disrespect to anyone over the age of 45, 50 or whatever, but people keep coming up to me and they go, oh, I loved watching you in the movies when I was growing up. It is so nice to see you in person. I'm going, how did you watch me growing up?
If I'm younger.
I'm in my mid-30s, man. Like, how did you watch me grow up? Like, how young do I think I am? And on the other side, people think that Shorty's dead, and then they go, oh, I thought you were dead. It's a lot. It's an emotional roller coaster. So I'm like, I'm needed to carve a name out for myself, kind of thing. And then Boa and I started with our comedy, and it's kind of, we've become that replacement, which is it's a sense of pride. It's also a sense of how important comedy is in South Africa. But that sort of Leon Schuster, Shorty, Alfred combination was just so iconic through the 90s. And I don't know how, but we've somehow ended up being this sort of replica modern version of the two.
We also featured incredible South Africans doing fantastic things. And Cool Story Brew is really someone that we know who is telling fantastic stories in the social media space. We learnt a little bit about his journey and how he got to where he is right now.
I'm actually quite a shy guy, but the creating the videos is a form of creativity, which I think a lot of people don't understand, because when we think of creativity, it's usually music or art or writing, which is great, but I see the videos as creativity as well, which is why I enjoy it. So yeah, it was always there, but I love it now. Every day it's so much fun.
Okay, so you started with Cool Story Brew, and you said that the beginning looked very different to what it does now.
Yeah.
What was the beginning like?
So when I started Cool Story Brew, it was more things about the past. So like interesting stories about South Africa. Almost like a lot of them were almost like conspiracy theories, South African conspiracy theories. So for example, a couple of my first videos was like the Kruger Millions hidden treasure somewhere in South Africa. Like, oh, is a hidden treasure still out there? Sort of mysterious kind of vibe. And then I also did videos about like legends of giant sharks off the coast of South Africa and stuff like that. So it was more literally like stories, like almost like bedtime stories was how it started out. And then it's I kind of gauged my audience and I saw what they were interested in. I also got a lot of requests from people. Then I tried playing around with one or two good stories, like feel good stories, and that's something only recently I've tried to invest in more. So I've always sort of touched on it, like obviously when we were doing well in sports, whatever it was, rugby, the random sports we haven't heard of as well. I've been doing that for quite a while, but recently I've tried to dig more into the feel-good stories, the underdog stories, and that's like really fired me up, and I'm sure you can relate as well, because that's awesome when you actually feel like you're playing a role in sharing stories that should be heard. So yeah, that content I actually want to go down more.
And you must. And then of course the fantastic Suzelle DIY, who spoke about her journey to becoming South Africa's DIY queen, as well as her other roles. We're talking about Tally Babes.
This is what happened. We were getting married. I was like, this is the most insane experience I've ever been through in my life. We were meeting the funniest people. We were going through the most funny experiences. And I said, we were walking, my husband and I was like, oh my God, Tally should be getting married. This is brilliant. She needs to get married and document it, because we knew we wanted it to be a bit of a kind of mockumentary style. Yeah. And then we're like, okay, well, that's brilliant. What are we going to do? We should just put it on YouTube. And then we realized the world of Tally is so much bigger than that. You know, Suzelle's very contained. We shoot in a little studio. She's just got her funny little friend. Whereas Tally, you want to meet her family. You want to see the world and the world in which she exists. And then we thought, okay, this is bigger. So we decided to make a pilot, which was a very good idea, because it was hard to see it on paper. People were like, okay, well, we don't understand what this is. So we made a pilot which really, I think, showed people what it is we were trying to make. And we sent it to a few places. I can't actually remember what really happened, but Showmax saw it and
they were like,
They were
in.
so in. They were so in, and they were amazing. They were supportive and nurturing, and they were like, let's make this crazy thing. That's a crazy idea, and we got to make it, and it was one of the best experiences of my life, honestly.
So what I love is when corporates, and Showmax as a corporate, when the money is, when they put trust in this idea and your creativity, and then you're able to bring it to life.
Totally, and they got it.
They got it.
They got it.
Anton, so he's a friend.
Is a real friend of yours?
Yes, he's a friend.
Amazing. He's a friend of mine too, I think.
Was it amazing working with him?
So amazing. I mean, Anton is just the best, most wonderful human in the whole world. And it was awesome. It was awesome. And he brought this beautiful, tender honesty to Darren that we could never have found anywhere else.
No, I mean that first scene when it came out, the trailer, where you were trying to do the photo and Darren's face, and then Darren's face is not in it, and it's just
so good.
It was so good,
and he was so game, and he was so on board, and it was just so special.
And Rail.
I know. I mean, Rail.
Just great. It was such great writing when it came to building those characters.
Yes.
And you got to build that world out, because then we went from getting married,
to
then having a baby, to then moving to Josie, all these building up on this character, and you got to play in the background, right? Because at the same time, the teasers that were coming out on social media were ridiculous.
It was so much fun. And that's actually what else we did. Before we shot the show, and in a way, I was almost practicing how I was going to bring this character to life. I started releasing a lot of Tally content online as a way for me to kind of get my hands on this character. And in so doing, this audience started to build, which was amazing because when the show came out, it was just so
Tally.
great. We knew her, and there was an audience to watch the show.
We've put together the team and the team I have to thank, because the guys and girls behind the cameras are the ones that truly bring the show together. And of course, my fantastic assistant Taylor, who is always by my side, making sure that I'm doing the right thing and that I'm on time, because I'm always late. I make her so angry, but she still loves me, which I'm thankful for. And she's giving a little appreciative thing. Thank you for working on New Year's Day as well. I'm really thankful for you. Before I speak about the other guests, and we had so many, nearly 40 shows by the end of the year, which I'm so incredibly thankful for, I need to raise one thing that has happened online while the shows have been put out there, and that's my hair. I've had so many comments from, well, I want to say so many. There were like 3 of people who were really upset about the way I wear my hair, and I need to put this out there as in T's and C's. If someone is doing something that makes them happy and it's not illegal and it's not hurting anyone, never be the reason someone stops dancing. I bloody love my hair. And I tell you this, if you see some of the DMs I get, you'll realize that there's a lot of people that love my hair as well. So many incredible guests. One in particular who really was special to have on the show because we've been friends for so long is Danny Painter. Danny spoke very candidly about the grief, about becoming a young widow and how she dealt with that. Let's take a look back.
Yeah, but grief is messy. Whether you lose a child, a husband, a father, a mother, grief is messy, and there is no handbook, there is no one to phone. It doesn't matter also if you've lost both parents, then this is your second time around, or 3 husbands. Grief is very, very personal and very intimate, and everyone navigates differently. But I remember the first few days after Phil died, I was looking at, there was a very famous South African woman, and she was a former Miss South Africa, and she'd lost her husband. And I went onto her Instagram and I went onto her Facebook, and I was like, how is she managing this? I need to see how she's doing. Like, what is she doing in her day? Is she laying in bed? Is she bed rotting? And she was perfect. Makeup was done, everything was curated. And no disrespect to her, that was her process and that was fine. But I needed to see someone who was drinking half a bottle of vodka while trying to navigate selling a house and dealing with in-laws that were overseas that I've never really spoken to. You know, there were so many moving parts, plus my job, no work, no pay on radio. So I had to go back. And I realized that there was no one for me. There was no one that I could look at and go, okay, she's messy today. I'm allowed to be a little bit messy today. Or she's got it together. Let me try a little bit harder. And it wasn't intentional for me to step into that. I just went, you know what, I'm just going to be honest and I'm going to tell the truth. And I told the truth through everything, through navigating the grief, through the funeral, through everything. And then, like you say, the sex toys, because this was something that I didn't realize.
I bring this up as well because, so after I'd listened to that intro episode, I voice noted you and I said, it's beautiful. I'm so proud, sounds so condescending because I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That you took that step to create this handbook for other people to navigate their grief. And like you say, it's not just grief of losing a husband, it's grief in any sense. Grief. And there are many stages to grief. And before you put out the she bought a dildo that's the size of my arm.
By mistake. By mistake. I thought that they had sent me a gift bag. I ordered one and I thought they'd send me a gift bag and I got it. I was like, this box is really heavy. Oh my God, they're lovely. They didn't send me anything else.
So I'm actually going right. So Danny, she sent me that podcast before you put it out. And I was like, it's so human and it's so real and it's so authentic. And it's so relatable that
you've done it too?
Oh yeah, I've got so many at home, so many boxes. So it's what other people can learn from, and that's what I think I love about the way that you're going through this is that you are helping us learn things along the way. I guess what brought Danny to mind is that she's got no hair. So I'm sure that some people have got some things to say about her hair as well. But I love you. I love your hair. I love the way you look, my friend. The last person I want to speak about, and we didn't choose these stories for any particular reason. Every guest we had on the show was as valuable as the next, and I appreciated everybody coming to sit with me in the hot seat. But I have to mention Robbie Brosen. So Nando's, Robbie Brosen was one of the co-founders of Nando's. They've sponsored our podcast this year for 2025, and I'm so thankful that they did that. It was almost like an incubator program. Let's start the podcast. Let's see where it goes. And at the end of 2025, we're going to give you new wings so you can fly even higher. Robbie joined me on the podcast to speak about his love for Joburg. Josie, my Josie. What an incredible association. And let's take a look back.
A lot of the cities around the world, a lot of the countries around the world are oblivious to their core problems. Okay, and we as South Africans think that we're the only ones with problems. And that's why you've been such an important part of keeping optimism, because it is about optimism. It's easy to just opt out.
Yeah.
And you know, and also when you're telling only good news stories, people tune out.
They do.
Because
so I get it often. It happened the other day. We had something go viral, and then we get comments from perhaps people that haven't come across Good Things Guy, but they go, oh, finally, a good news story. And my whole team is like, no, we're here every day. We're doing it all the time.
And the good news stories, there's a Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, who was he passed away, but he was head of the English community. He talks about listen to the music under the noise. Listen to the music under the noise. And in Joburg, we have so much music. I mean, it's bursting with, and that's the creativity of the music scene. Okay, we're sitting in the northern suburbs, too scared to come into the city, but the vibe that is happening in the city on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, you have no idea that's what's bursting out there. Just on music, on amapiano, on young artists that are global. The scene of the music scene in Joburg, some like Black Coffee, is so famous globally. You have no idea. And some of the Msaki, for example, she writes for Diplo in Los Angeles, and she hangs out in Joburg at the Ethel Gray Park. It's just as a regular person hanging out there, and yet she's been. And we as South Africans don't recognize the world class what we have. There's the Tabiso Njo that does T-Mash design. She does a lot of the Nando's light fittings. It's called like a tutu design. She's just done a collaboration with Dolce & Gabbana from Victoria Yards. Okay, now Dolce & Gabbana don't do this kind of collaboration, you know, and that's they don't do it without seeing real quality and genius. And that's the music under the noise, because you can hear the noise, and yes, you can look at the potholes and you can get all, you know, but the minute you dig down and get involved in doing certain things and meeting the kind of real optimists that are doing stuff, your life changes.
So yes, what an incredible ride. And Nando's was our sponsor for 2025, but they've given us those new wings. And as we start 2026, we'll have a new sponsor for the show, as well as a new set at Prime Media Studios. I'm so flippin' excited. So a massive shout out to all of you for tuning in this whole year, whether on audio or video. A bigger shout out to the team, Meta Creative Labs, who have really done a fantastic job at bringing this together. And of course, Taylor, my assistant, and the entire Good Things Guy team that continue bringing you good news every single week. Good Things Guy turned 10 this year, and I've never been more thankful or grateful to be doing something that I love so damn much, bringing you good things every single day. I know the team feel exactly the same way. What can I say? Happy New Year. Wishing you only good things. Cannot wait to see you next year. Okay. Love you. Bye.